Trayce, when did you get the word that you were starting, and what was the mentality you brought out to the court tonight?
Well, I was actually working on my back, trying to get my back loose, and then they actually came in like 30 minutes, no, probably like 40 minutes before tip, and they were like, Dre's out tonight, you're starting. I was like, okay. So it is what it is.
I mean, starting the first X amount of games of the season, and you're not playing as much the last few games. What has that process been like for you, and how did that come out in the force that you play with tonight?
I don't think it changes. I mean, you got to go in there, you got to play hard, and that's what coach tells me. Go in there, run the floor, try to make energy plays, and so that's what I'm trying to do out there.
Trayce, what were the last 48 hours like for this team after losing by 51 in Memphis, and how did guys react to that?
Obviously, you're upset during the game. After the game, you're upset, but this is the NBA. You got 82 games in a season. We actually did some team bonding on the plane and kind of getting the vibes back right last night. But overall, and I think that showed. So I'm just staying together as a team, and that's our motto, just us. And so it's just us guys, and we got to keep playing for each other.
What was the team bonding? What made that so different than, say, a normal flight?
Because we know at the end of the day, we come into work and we're in the NBA. We get to play the game we love, and so we got to just appreciate it and just sit back and enjoy this thing. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows and valleys and struggles, and so just continuing to push through, and we have a great team, and we just got to start playing at a high level.
What's it like seeing Steph close like that tonight?
It's great to see. A lot of people have been doubting that man, but he's been doing this for a long time, and so any given night he can explode like that, and we just need him every game. Obviously, we can't just rely on him. Everyone's got to do their part, but overall, when he gets good looks like this, it helps our team so much.
We've talked a little bit about your struggles earlier in this year, finishing around the rim.
Yeah.
Tonight was obviously different, even against Rudy. What has gone into what you're trying to work on there?
Just staying aggressive. Some of the ones that I miss, it's just mental. It's nothing to do with my basketball abilities, and I know that. And just the coaches have stayed with me. My teammates have continued to bring me confidence, and I just got to continue to go out there, play aggressive, and try to finish strong.
Steph, you ever gone through a delay like that before?
Not that I can remember. Not that I can remember.
It looked like you were trying to stay warm.
That's the worst thing that can happen to a 36-year-old is you rev the engines up, then you got to go sit and idle for, how long was it?
25 minutes.
Yeah. Was it really?
Well, 20 minutes and then you have the 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I left the court during most of the 5 minutes just to kind of act like it was a restarting of the game, like go back into the peace and quiet and then come back out, which helped. But honestly, once the first 3 minutes was weird, 'cause offensively it was kind of slow, but I don't think it bothered us that much.
Both you individually and then as a team, how did it feel to close the game? Were you guys close tonight?
I mean, it felt good. Obviously, we needed a win. We needed a feel-good type of experience after the Memphis game. You knew that they made a run coming out of halftime, but we were playing well enough. It seemed like everything they got was off of transition. So in the half court, if we could just settle the game, in the half court, we could get stops. And thankfully, I hit a bunch of shots. We got organized offensively, which was great. We've talked about that over the last 48 hours. Is just understanding what shots we're trying to create, what sets we're trying to get in, and the biggest play, honestly, I mean, obviously I made threes, but the biggest play was GP in the pocket and the lob to Wiggs. We were up 7. They had, hit a couple shots. I missed that layup, and we came back down, and that is a organized play that it's kind of like our bread and butter. And I told GP that was the biggest play of the game right there. You sealed the deal.
Steve was pretty impassioned at the end of his press conference talking about how the young players on our team need to learn how to play with Steph. They need to understand that a 12-footer early in the clock is a bad shot and that we've got to move the ball. How badly do you feel like that message needs to break through?
Coach has a certain point of view, which he's trying to get us into organized sets. For me and anybody who plays with me, is you have to play confident and decisive. And you're okay with mistakes as long as they're done, with a mindset of you trying to be aggressive. I'm cool with that. We also can talk about adjustments and reads and sets that allow me to be a threat on the ball, off the ball, to create easy shots. And over the course of 48 minutes, if we have more of that bucket than the bucket coach is talking about, we're going to be in good shape. It doesn't mean that's not going to happen, because everybody plays different than me, different skill sets. We want guys to be aggressive, to not be robots. But that bucket is proven, to work. But it also has to come from a mindfulness of like the sets and the patterns and the looks that we're trying to get. So young guys, old vets, everybody, we got to figure out how to get more of that bucket, because it usually works. It was huge. He embodied exactly what I'm talking about. He played decisive, aggressive the entire game, played with energy. Like I said, nobody's going to play a perfect game. I didn't play a perfect game, but when you're out there and you are taking advantage of your minutes, you're talking, you can tell there's a sense of urgency from him, from Slow-Mo, who went from not really being in the rotation to starting. Like, you keep the defense on us, and also on our defensive end, just make plays. That block that Trayce had, forget who shot it, but that's a play where you could either just be a spectator and watch, or you can actually get in the action, and he had that energy all night, and it was great.
What were the last 48 hours like for this team, on the court, off the court, after that 51-point loss in Memphis? I mean, Brandin said something like the music was pumping even louder after playing, the team playing, and there was Trayce, and there was more team bond.
That's the thing about this team, and when you say anything about like how I'm about to say it, it's always going to be a comparison to last year or the year before or the championship year or whatever. It's not that. This team is connected. There's a good energy about and a commitment to the group, even through some of our struggles. If you came to our practices over the last 2 weeks, you probably and didn't know anything about us, you probably like, oh, these guys are on a winning streak. Like, they feel good. And you got to maintain that through some of the challenges and struggles. And, a night like tonight happened. So Raymond reminded me we've been blown out dramatically before, even last year. We came back and won the next game. Same kind of vibe. Doesn't guarantee anything, but at least it gives you a chance to trust each other to work through it. And there's no, like, bickering or, side talks or all that type of stuff. It's like everybody's trying to figure it out, and we're having fun through the process.
Steve also said he didn't finish the third and start the fourth because Dennis got into the foul trouble and wanted to flip-flop it. And it worked for you tonight. I mean, is that something you think you might go back to?
It's always a conversation. I changed my rotation before. Obviously, Dennis was part of the team. He gives us such a reliable ball handler. I thought it put BP in a much better position to not have to have the majority of the ball handling responsibilities, but do everything else he does great on the court. Defensively, he hit a big three at the end of the first half. The tip in the fourth quarter was unbelievable. And he was just kind of all over the place, and that's the advantage of having him in a different role as next to another ball handler. So we'll see how that affects my rotation going forward. But that's basketball. Foul trouble then changes things up, and I was able to finish the game.